Hey. Welcome to Friendship Fridays with your favorite bestie, Giovanni G. That's me. I'm here to help you navigate how it would be if it possibly touches you or someone in your family to be a caregiver. I'm going to give you all the behind the scenes and how to navigate this thing and be prepared so you're not operating in crisis mode. Because who wants to do that? Been there, done that. So I've carried all the weight for you. I am currently still in crisis mode. And this show actually helps me feel better, do better, and get in a better space of peace. Because that's what you need to do. You need to definitely have some peace. So make sure you go ahead and put chat in the comments, ask questions, like, subscribe. It's free and share the page because my mission is to spread this knowledge as much as possible so we can get prepared the same way you're prepared for active shooter drill. We just had an active shooter here in Georgia, literally 25 minutes from my house. So at a school, the same way the kids prepare for that, or you prepare at your job, the same way you prepare for a fire drill, you need to have an emergency management plan in case your loved one, your parents get sick, and you're an instant caregiver because you have to be ready. So tonight we are in the Get Your Money in Order. This series is the Get Ready series. So the first rolling of the ball was having a conversation with your loved one, what their wishes is, what do they want to be cremated, do they want a DNR, all of those things, the actual wishes and what their plan is if it goes left and who does what in your family, who would be the caretaker, who would be the person helping out with the finances, the conversation with your family. The second episode, we slid right into getting your paperwork in order. So last week we talked about getting the paperwork in order. The two types of power of attorneys, which is a durable power of attorney, which you need for finances to sell the home, to sell assets, the bank accounts, and also the power of attorney for your health directives, which is do they want a DNR? Do they want feeding tubes? Do they want to be on life support? Those type of things. So you need both power of attorneys. And if you were a vet, you can get a power of attorney for veteran affairs. So definitely make sure that you get that paperwork in order. You can always go back and watch the replay. You can ask questions in the chat. I'm here for you. This bestie here is here for you. So tonight we're going to talk about getting the money in order. Oh, also with that paperwork, make sure you go ahead and update all beneficiaries. Update the beneficiaries, any name changes, address changes, because life insurances will not go look for you to pay out the money. So you make sure everything is updated just to make sure that once you unfortunately may have passed or anything to take the stress off your family and your loved ones. So let's get to roll up our sleeves and get into it. Getting this money in order. The out of pocket expenses that no one really thinks about, right? So you're thinking, like myself, oh, we have insurance, we're good to go. But it's so many things that insurance do not even cover. And you don't know it until you're in it. So medicines and specialist copays. So yes, insurance will cover the bulk of it, but copays really add up. So the copays, mine's at least for my mother, was about $300 a month. So that was like what? And then they have to go to specialists. And from my experience, they were anywhere between $25 to $76. But of course, all that is going to add up. And it could be higher depending on what type of insurance plan they have, what kind of specialist they have to go to. Because my mother had a stroke, we have to go to neurologists, we have to go to endo specialists, we have to go to heart specialists to make sure everything is together. So it's a lot. And those copays, they want them when you're checking the person in. So it's kind of crazy. So make sure that part is planned for. Equipment not covered by your insurance. So a social worker is supposed to help you, or case manager, help you get certain equipment, right? But the insurance still has to deem it as medically sound or medically necessary, right? So my mother had a stroke. The right side of her body was not working, but she can pivot in and out the bed. So they said, if you want a hospital bed, you got to buy it yourself. Wait, what? No, she needs a hospital bed. How? I gotta buy it myself? Why would I have to buy it myself? Oh, because she can get in and out the bed. Even though it's with assistance, she still can get out the bed. So that's not really medically sound. Okay, so most of the time, a hospital bed, it can run you about $1,200, and that's for a manual one where you have to crank it up and down. You can rent them every month, but of course, you got to pay first month and last month for the rental fee, and it doesn't come with the mattress. So you then have to buy the mattress. You can't rent a mattress. So all of these costs add up. A shower chair, if your loved one needs a shower chair, your insurance does not cover a shower chair. They cover a bedside commode, which you can take off the bedpan part and use for a shower chair, but then it's a hole in the middle, and that gets a little sticky. So you actually need a actual shower chair. Um, a carpet wheelchair. So my mother was in assisted living first for about 6 months, and then she came home with me because the cost of assisted living, we're going to get into that, is unbelievable. But the I had brand new carpet in my apartment, so we had to get a carpet wheelchair. Insurance wouldn't cover that. So it's more like a low profile chair. Canes and walkers, because your insurance only allows you to choose one. So because they provided her a wheelchair for outside, they wasn't going to give her a walker. These are things you have to add on. And but you can grab all of these things at your bestie's favorite playground, Amazon. This is not a plug for Amazon. I don't get paid for Amazon, but the cart stay ready because Amazon has been a big help with me for medical supplies and things that I need for my mother. And I even know the delivery people. I know that's sad. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Now, when the social worker or case manager, they are supposed to help you, like I said, but you are your biggest advocate for your loved one because they're going to do bare minimum. The ones that I've had gave me a run for my money, and I had to fight for everything that I needed. I had to go do research and find out what Medicare covered or did not cover, how to make it medically sound. Because at first they didn't want to give me a bedside commode because she can pivot and make it to a bathroom, pivot into a wheelchair and make it to a bathroom. They was like, she doesn't need that. But a bedside commode is actually the riser that goes over the toilet. So that way I wouldn't have to purchase that. They do sell it on Amazon as well, but I was trying to alleviate as much cost as possible. Um, so like I said, you have to make sure it's medically sound. So you being their advocate will make sure that you get certain things, but you have to fight for your loved one because they're going to do bare minimum. When it comes to home health aides, again, your insurance makes you choose. So you can't get home health as well as services such as therapy. So, speech, occupational, and physical therapists. I couldn't get those three as well as get home health aides. And home health aides, they're mainly to give the support to the caregiver. They come and wash the patient, they come and help feed the patient, and all of these things. But those services, such as learning how to walk again, learning how to talk again, learning how to put on your clothes, brush your teeth, which is occupational therapist, that's what you need more than the support. Yes, you do need the support of someone helping you come wipe them and wash them and etc. But if you had to choose between lesser of two evils, I would always highly recommend you getting a person that's going to help your loved one be independent again or close to as independent as possible. Um, as I we're 1 year in now. On the 14th, it'll be a year since her stroke. And we now to this place that she can dress herself. It takes about 30 minutes, 30, 45 minutes, but she can dress herself. And that's to the occupational therapist helping her get to that place on how to put on socks with one arm and how to put on pants with one arm and etc. She also can now take herself to the bathroom. She still needs help wiping, but it's the fact that she can wheel in there, pivot, and sit on the commode. That is baby steps. So granted, I do need a break because I'm her sole provider caregiver, but um, the break didn't really trump the service, if that makes sense. Because I really needed her to be able to talk to me and communicate with me so I can know what's hurting or what she needed. So the speech therapist kind of trumped me getting a little relief. I get relief when she go to bed. Because you got to keep in mind that when a stroke happens, a health crisis happen, any type of brain injury, heart or anything, that elderly person is kind of set back in a sense, and you may have a toddler again. So anybody that had kids, you have to be prepared that you have a toddler. So sometimes it's meltdown, sometimes it's crying, sometimes it's a whole lot going on. And then you go in your room and cry later. But nonetheless, you have to take what you get. So those services from the different therapists will be more beneficial to you than a home health aide, unless you just can't do it. And then you would have to stop those therapy services and get the home health aide in. So it just depends on what you value more. For me, in my situation, getting back to independence was the most important thing. When it comes to medical supplies, so depends, protective underwear in case it's accidents, alcohol pads, wipes, lancets for the glucose checks, test strips, all of that costs money, and your insurance does not cover any of that. It does cover it when when they're in a facility. So assistant living, nursing home, and etc. But once they come home, they do not cover that anymore. So my go-to place is where, guys? Amazon. And they deliver it right to my house. But yes, all of that costs money. Okay, now we're going to get into the real cost on why you got to get this money in order. The cost of assisted living and nursing homes are not covered at all by regular health insurance. So, if you had Medicaid, right? Medicaid is income based, and it is based on how much money you're bringing in, your taxes, and etc., poverty line, and etc. You can get certain services, and you can get a nursing home. If you're in a nursing home, you have to be mindful that it may be 19 to 20 patients to one CNA or one nurse. Okay. So you have to make sure you understand that concept. When you go to assisted living, it's a little bit more personable care, but that is totally out of pocket. Okay. So, according to the National Council of Aging, the average cost per month for an assisted living is $4,500 per month. Okay. If you do that by the year, that's 54,000 a year per year. Okay, that's someone's salary. That's someone coming out of college salary, right? 40 to 50,000 a year. The median average household in the United States right now in 2022, according to 2022, it was $74,000. So, if your parent or your loved one has to go in assisted living, it may cost $54,000. But your median average income is only 74,000. And that's not including taxes and your children and your student loans and your car note and all the other pieces that go with the puzzle. Now, although the average cost is $4,500 a month, most of them are not even furnished. So you have to buy furniture. So when my mother she went into one that was $4,500 a month, because the ones that was 36, 37, and 38, they had a ratio of 20 to 1, 20 patients to one CNA or a nurse, meaning that, oh, well, they had only one nurse on staff, because all of these assisted livings, they don't have to, or nursing homes, they don't have to have a whole bunch of nurses. By law, you only have to have so many nurses per shift. So, and it doesn't have to be an RN. Now, RN runs it, but you can have an LPN or a medical assistant can give out drugs. Oh, it's crazy. So you're paying all this money and you don't even have a nurse on staff. So she was paying that per month and it wasn't furnished. So we had to go to Marshall's and I had to go to Amazon. It didn't even have a shower curtain. So just imagine you paying $4,500 a month and there's no shower curtain. It's no towels, it's no sheets, it's nothing. The place she ended up went to blessed me with a bed because I didn't know I had to buy a bed. I know, right? So they blessed me with a bed. Someone left their bed and we sanitized and everything, and she was able to use that bed. But we had to buy a TV. It didn't come with cable, so we had to buy a smart TV and put my Netflix account on there and put on some of my apps that were at home on there and teach her how to use them, because who was paying a cable bill if you're paying $4,500 a month? That's not my mortgage, my living expenses. That's not the car note. That's not my student loan, and that's not my kid. That's outside of, that's just my mother. So, but it comes with food. You're paying for all inclusiveness. So it comes with the food, it comes with the care, but the price went up with, at least with my mother, because of the levels of care. So everything is tacked on because at the beginning she couldn't really feed herself well because she didn't know how to use her left hand. That was a charge. She didn't know how to wipe herself at all. That was a charge. She didn't know how to get into bed. That was a charge. She couldn't swallow regular pills. So, because the pills had to be crushed, that was a charge. They have no grace period at most of these places. So, the money's due on the first. So, yes, get the money in order. Um, and so, when you look at it that way, you're like, oh, wow, this is expense I had no idea would come my way. Everything is itemized fees. Okay. And a friend of mine in Philadelphia, he's a director of sales at an living place in Philadelphia. Very plush, very nice. And his cost is $7,800 per month. Okay. $7,800 per month. And if you look around town, your city, wherever you're at, you'll see they're building these assisted living homes and over 55 apartments left and right. But that's why, because it's big business to have. So imagine paying 7,800 a month. That is 93,000 a year. That is a salary of someone with a master's degree. Yeah, that's it's serious. So $93,000 a year just for your loved one to have a place to stay. Now, granted, your loved one doesn't have to go to a place with a spa and a swimming pool because that's the particular place he's at. It has a spa, it has a hair salon, a swimming pool. They have dentistry that comes there. They can get their hair done. They have movie nights and all of that stuff. And even my mother's, she had happy hour. They would have wine Wednesdays or something, and they would have a person come in and do manicures and pedicures. But it still doesn't negate $4,500 a month. Okay. And what can be done to help with the cost? Get your assets in order. So if your loved one, your parents, your loved one has a home, make sure it is repaired because I went through that. Make sure it's updated and clutter reduced. I'm not going to say clutter free because our loved ones, our parents, them in clutter, I don't understand. My mother had pay stubs from 1984. Why? Why do you have pay stubs from 1984? She even had IRS books. I know all my people on here that's a little older. You remember the books with the IRS? It looked like a workbook. She had a couple of those. Why do we have this, ma'am? Why do we have this? So being clutter free is not realistic. So we're gonna say clutter reduced. So that way, if it goes left, it's less stress on you and all the other loved ones that have to clean up this to be able to sell the asset. Okay. So a couple of summers, go in, help reduce some things. On breaks, winter breaks, whatever, your kids is out, you're going to visit your loved one or whatever, help throw some stuff in the trash because they're going to hold on to that. Because I promise you, if you go into your parents or your loved one house right now, go today, tomorrow, you will see that there's some expired seasonings in there. You're gonna see some expired McCormick in that cabinet. You're gonna see it, and you're gonna say, what the world? Like, yes, make sure that you clean out them cabinets. Clean out them cabinets, start getting rid of the papers, because when it comes time to have to sell that asset, you don't want it to affect the cost because you may have to sell as is, and then you're going to take a reduced cost because it's not updated, it's not remodeled, or it's not livable. Okay, so just make sure you just take the time, pull in with, you have people in your family that flip houses, have them come fix some things or etc. Um, Reducing your debt for your loved one. So find out what kind of debt they have going on so that the pensions and the Social Security and the 401k can help alleviate the cost of the assisted living. Because sometimes your parents may have it, but unfortunately, the debt overpowers what they have. Been there too. So I'm only speaking for what I know because I'm living in the trenches right now. Every day I find out something new. And so that's what made me start this whole channel, to help someone not be or feel how I feel every day, discovering something new. So all of those things could possibly alleviate some of the costs if the debt is reduced enough to where you can pull money from one place and put it somewhere else, and then you only got to make up a difference of $1,000 or the difference of $700, and that difference is way better than a $4,500 expense off the gate before you even do your own personal private expenses. Okay. Now, if your loved one has Medicaid, which is the free health insurance and is based on income, you can be paid to be a caregiver, right? So each state is different and they have different programs to where you can be paid to be a caregiver. And that will help alleviate some things because then they won't have to be in assisted living. They could come home with you. But that still is another beast because as a 365, 24/8, I know it's supposed to be 24/7, but I'm on 8 days. I got 8 days. You really, it consumes you. Like you have to do everything for this person. You have to wash them, feed them, dress them, make sure you play charades because my mom still has speech issues. Me and my kid being here guessing to what she's trying to say. We have to go through a whole list of charades to try to figure out what are you trying to communicate with us. So sometimes paying that cost helps you in a sense, but if you don't have the money or the assets, you got to kind of go through plan B. And the plan B is to alleviate the cost as much as possible. So we're going to make sure that you have different insurances, which we're going to talk about next episode, which is next week. And it's called Get Your Insurance in Order. And I'm going to tell you insurances you need to have to help reduce down the costs. Okay. So it's certain things that can help you prepare you, and you can get them, you need to get them before your loved one gets sick. That way they will be covered. Because if they get sick and if they're a certain age, they won't even be covered. Okay, so these are all things you need to think about. So next week episode, get your insurance in order. So make sure you tune in 9 o'clock on Fridays. Every week I'm here. Okay, and let's see, what else do we need? Um, that's it. I think I'm good here. I think I'm good here. So let's go ahead and get into the comments because I wanted to always make room for your comments, your questions, or anything like that. So I'm engaging with my people, my community of besties. So please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. It's free. And make sure you spread the word to people so they can know about what may come and affect their family one way or another. And it may not be them directly, it may be a cousin, it may be a friend, but then they have the knowledge to be able to pass it to someone so they know what they need to do. And they don't have to do all the heavy lifting because I've already done it. So we're gonna go ahead and get into the comments. Thank you, Chevy, for coming. Um, Yes, please, everybody, go back and watch the paperwork in order episode. You definitely, everybody, even myself, I went this week and did it myself. Did a payable upon death because my payable upon death went to my mother. My mother's sick now. So now I had to change it to my 16-year-old, which is kind of crazy, right? But that had to be updated because a lot of my paperwork had my mother name on it. Um, or my cousin's name on it or something like that. So now I have to change all of that. They had my mom's first and then my cousin. So now I have to take my mom off of all of these things because I didn't think she would go down like this. So all my paperwork had her. So yeah, make sure you update that and your beneficiaries. Um, and to pay out of pocket for aid, it is very expensive because you have to give them a fair wage. You have to kind of weed through the people because you don't want no foolishness because these people are in your house. So you don't want any thief. You don't want anybody that's not going to show up to work. You don't want anybody bringing other people to your house. So you really got to weed this thing out. Okay. And also, one of my episodes is going to talk about the whole breaking down the assisted living on how it really works. The social workers are in the mix. So, assisted living, get real cool with the social worker at the hospital. Someone breaks their hip. The social worker calls the assisted living place because the assisted living gives them gifts and different things. They give them a call. Hey, Susie, we have a patient that just checked in yesterday. She broke her hip. Susie, the rep comes in. Hey, my name is Susie. I'm at such and such assisted living. Here's the information. That's how to get clients. So if you prepare before and you start looking in the area and just start seeing or reading the reviews, you already know, and you're not operating in crises to find your loved one a place to stay while they're going through the rehab process, because you actually looked for them and you actually research everything. It took my cousin, that's in Michigan, to help me go through the process because her mother had a stroke, and she was able to help me through that process, like how to pick them, how to read the ratings. All of this is online, but you got to know what to pick. You got to know where to look for it, because it's just not there on Front Street. It is on Google University, but you still got to know where to pick. Oh yes, and that part with paperwork in order, the utilities, make sure you know whose name the utilities is in. So when it came to my mother, so this kind of backtracks to paperwork in order, but you're going to go back and watch it anyway. So with my mother, my mom and dad were married 30 years, right? And so my dad was a man's man, and all of the utility bills was in his name. Okay. But he passed away 15 years ago. My mother never took his name off of these things, and that's considered fraud. I know, right? So I had to show the marriage license. I had to cry. I had to beg and plead, because that was a charge of fraud, because you have bills in someone that's deceased name. So even though they're married 30 years, even though a payment was never missed, lights never been cut off, and I'm in my early 40s, never missed a phone bill, never got anything cut off. Once they found out that my father was passed away, because I had to do the paperwork, they was like, "Oh, this is fraud." Wait, no. So I went through that with the gas company, the electric company, and the phone company. So if your loved one has, their spouse has died or deceased or divorced or whatever, make sure they go and switch the name, because that's considered as fraud. And I was lucky and I was blessed to have people that helped me through that, but that could have really went left. So that is a part of getting your paperwork in order. Knowing, getting all into these seasoned, we're not going to say elderly, we're going to say seasoned loved ones, get into their business so you don't have no surprises, because I done took all y'all surprises. I done took them already. So just get all into it, find out who name is on what, find out who are the beneficiaries, find out if the addresses are updated, and those type of things. When it comes to the money, try to alleviate costs as much as possible. Try to figure out what the debt looks like, what's coming in versus what goes out, so you can know if something happens what we're going to do. Also, like I said, next week we're going to talk about what insurances will help you, and you need to get them now, even for your young self, in case something goes left, car accident, active shooter, anything crazy, so your kids can be okay. Okay. And that's happening next week. What else? What else? Any more comments? Oh, yes. All those salaries I talked about were pre-taxed. So that $54,000 a year, because it's $4,500 a month, that 54 was pre-taxes. Okay. So you probably bringing home 40, 43, and you still got to pay for your mom or your dad. The math ain't mathing. So you got to have some other funds coming in. You got to have something, whether it's a side hustle, a side job, or consultant. I don't know, but some type of money has to be coming in to be able to meet this cost that may be coming your way head on, because all the baby boomers are getting older, and all types of things are happening to them, whether it is a brain aneurysm, a heart attack, a stroke, COPD, all kinds of things are happening to them now. And the kids or the nieces or the nephews have to step in. If that loved one didn't have any children, someone in the family has to step in and take care of that cost. And every now and then you have people in your family that's going to pull together and help you navigate that. I was blessed to have that, praise God, because I was losing it. But you got to be able to identify who those people are, and are they willing to help you, and etc. Okay. Yes, no, Chevy, you're correct. The paperwork was no joke. I'm still in paperwork, and we are literally 1 year anniversary on the 14th. The 14th, and I'm still getting things in the mail, and I'm still finding. I just found out something yesterday. I said, I just need to go on the rock sometimes because how y'all get my new address? How y'all found me? How y'all found me to give me some more stuff? So yes, I'm always finding out things, and I feel like to be ahead of it, be in the business, because I never had the conversation with my mother. I never said, hey, I just always said, is your paperwork in order? She said yes, and I left it alone. Hindsight is 2020. I should have said, hey, can you show me? Where's that? What's the debt look like? Where does go? 21 questions, like 50 Cent. That's what I should have did. But hindsight is 2020. I thank you for giving me 30 minutes of your time this Friday. Please like, share, and subscribe. Get the message out, because I'm here, their favorite Bestie, to help people get ready for what may come and affect them. I hope to see you next week for Get Your Insurance in Order, so you can know the insurances you need to purchase to get yourself ready to help you with such costs, the different types of things, and the different things that insurance, how they have payout days and how they have stop days and etc. So I will see you guys next week. Thank you for giving me your time. Bye.